All right. It is Younger Life Live, another great installment here on our flagship radio station, AM 1420 WIMS, online at WIMSradio.com, YoungerLife.org/life, and you can see us. And it's a great day to be alive. I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
It is so great to see you, young one. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. I have to ask you this before we get to our guests, because we've got a studio full of community pillars.
Absolutely.
I love these guys. And we got their correct spellings. We actually have their picture up on Facebook, on WIMS's Facebook already. All right, so I just want to let you know, how did your gig go last night? You were out and about live with the masses.
Well, I went to the Show Us Your Heart event that was at the hospital last night. So it was really neat. I didn't know what to expect. So, I mean, I had known from what they had said. I just couldn't picture it. I had not been in the Heart and Vascular Center, other than in the basement. So I go in the side if I'm going to go down to a meeting or something down there. But I haven't been on the first floor in a very long time. So I wasn't exactly sure what to expect in there. But, you know, you go in and everybody was greeting you at the door, and they gave you little heart stickers so you could vote on the artwork. And James Neary was playing the guitar.
I love James.
He's so good.
He is so excellent.
He was so good. My husband, he had CDs there. My husband's looking around for somewhere to stick some money. We don't want to interrupt him because he's singing. And I said, just stick it behind the CD that's up for display. They had one like propped up. I said, stick it back there. So we were listening to that last night and sharing that with the kids when we got home. But, he was so good. And so they had the artwork set up down hallways and through their main, I'm assuming it's a conference room. It's a very nice large room, and that's where they had all the food set up from Spire. It was so good. It's funny, they're just little hors d'oeuvres and stuff, but they had on these little little toast, little breads, chicken, and I wondered for a minute if it was tofu chicken.
Of course.
They get tofu disguised as chicken, but it was actually chicken, and there were beans and onions. It looked.
Did you eat
good.
a lot of beans?
I ate 2 of the breads. It's funny, my husband hates onions, and he said, I see onions, I'm gonna pass. And I said, just taste it. It was so good. It was delicious. And I looked for Chef Brad because we had him on the one. Sure. And he's really cool. And he wasn't. I didn't see him there, so I must have missed him.
His people were there.
I'm sure, absolutely, but I must have missed him. They had a very nice turnout. There were a lot of people. A lot of people voted. There were stickers all over. I saw Abby, who's the young lady we had in here that had her little doodle, as she calls it, was what inspired the event. She had drawn a picture for her mother. That is Danielle's the manager on the CVICU floor. So anyway, it was just really neat. So I saw her, and her family was there. I saw her sisters, and just a lot of young people came. I think to see either their artwork or someone that they knew, and there were some really cool takes. The artwork was very different. Abby stuck to like a traditional heart. That's what her picture, her drawing and painting and stuff was, an actual heart. There were some of those, but there were some that were a little, I say creepy, but in a good way, like different.
Wait, creepy being, it was very like in your face, because I said my heart would be
like traditional
just a little heart, like where you put the arrow through it, kind of heart. Because I'm not good at the
There were
drawing.
some of that,
right,
which was really cool. It was every level. There were when I say creepy, there were a couple people that were incredibly drawn, like pencil
detailed,
extremely, but like with the holding a heart, like they pulled out their heart, and I said, that's different. This little, I mean, it was so good. I can't get over how many people are so talented in our area. That was really neat. There was one that I loved. I didn't see who made it, but it was on a canvas, and it was a big traditional heart shape, but filled with different buttons, which was really cool.
Nice.
My kids love buttons and little collection stuff, so I thought that was really cool. There was a string art heart that was really neat. And
give me 5 times. String art
heart. I know, that's a mouthful. But it was very, very well done.
Nice.
The turnout, again, was very good. They were doing live. You could watch someone getting a 2D echo. It's like an ultrasound of the heart.
Sure.
And so, they were talking, they were telling about it if you were interested in finding out exactly what you were looking at. So we get to see the chambers of the heart and the blood flow. They could put the color in there, so you're seeing blood flow. It was very fascinating, and so informational. I joked that the gentleman that was having it done, I said, you're going to fall asleep. Like, he's laying there while they're doing this. But he said, yeah, I'm about there.
You're going to wake
really
up with your
neat.
hand in hot water.
It was really neat, though. And, of course, they had the schedulers there were signing people up for the heart cart. There was a line, not a tremendously long line, but there was a line there, which was, I was happy to see.
Sure, I agree with you on
My husband and
that.
I just signed up. I said, we had a young lady in that found a defect with her heart through the heart cart screening. And it was so, she was very young. She was 30. And I said, okay. My husband and I, that day I signed us up. It freaked me out a little. So that was, it was nice to see people in that line of all ages too. So that was really nice. And it was just it was very well laid out. Everybody was very polite and it was fun. Got to talk to a few people. I know you said Mr. Zubecki called yesterday.
Yep.
I got to meet him and
Mark and his
give
lovely
him a
lady
hug.
who freaked out. They fall. Did he give you a big Mark hug?
He did. It was
Of
so
course he
nice.
did.
It was so nice.
Good.
And you know what I said? I think I know. He is Abby again, the girl that kind of sparked the event. That's her grandpa. And in talking to him, I found out he does taxidermy.
He
and stuff.
sure does.
And he does it so detailed. He was talking about the way he does fish, like large fish, is so different. I said, well, I mean, now we know where Abby gets the artistic gene. It's so obvious now because they were saying, Abby was saying she thinks she gets it from her mom, and her mom was saying no, she has nothing like Abby does. So yeah, I said I think she might get some of that from Grandpa. That's really cool. They were very, very nice, and it was just nice to see everyone. It was a really good time. My husband and I had a great time. We stayed till, I think it was till 7:30. We were there a few minutes after that.
You know why? Can I tell you guys in this room, by the way, in studio with us today here on Younger Life Live, we have Judy Mahota. Big round of applause for Judy. Camera 3 is on her right now. We have Karen Burns. Karen! Woo! And Edward Gondek. How are you, Edward? Woo! I want to tell you guys, you three in studio here today, we're going to talk about some neat stuff. That was their date out, and it probably was the first date alone in like weeks, maybe months, right?
It's funny, we joked because we knew it was till 7:30, so we said, we're going to make our rounds and leave in about an hour and go out to eat. But we were having such a nice time visiting, we didn't even do that.
Here's what he did. No. Here's from a guy perspective, and you've been married and they have 5 children, so you guys know. Here's what happened. He said, you know what? We could go on a date, but let's just eat here and save money.
yeah. It was just
So they were
funny.
munching on the appetizers.
We're just visiting, and it was really nice. It's so funny when you get to talking with people how, we really are a small community in the sense, you get to talking, and my husband was talking to a gentleman, Steve, that's done camera work for us before.
Sure.
I introduced him, and come to find out, Steve's wife of many years graduated with my husband.
Oh my gosh.
He's saying my wife graduated, from the same school, small school, and we said, who? And how funny she went to school with us. So it's just funny. You just find really much smaller community than we realize, and I love that. I love that about it. So we are talking about community today, though.
We are, and community ties into a sense of community, feeling like you're a part of community. And one way to do that, and we're all about that here at Girard Media and Younger Life Live when it comes to volunteering and making a difference.
That's it. Volunteerism is so important on every level. It's important for those receiving the help, but also it's important for those doing the volunteering on many levels. So I'm excited that we have these volunteers with us today, and you guys volunteer at IU Health LaPorte Hospital. Would you care to tell us how long you've been volunteering there?
Judy, let's start with you. Yeah.
I started in 2012 when I retired, so this fall or spring will be 4 years for me.
Wow, great.
Fantastic.
Karen, what about you?
I'm only a 2-year, and I also started when I retired.
You guys look way young to be retired here. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. And you guys are like
I'm way
energized.
old. I'm way old. No
You
worry.
rock.
You are not. Listen to you.
Edward, how about you?
I've been doing it for 7 years. I had a knee replaced 8 years ago, and
Oh.
they treated me so good at the hospital. I thought, well, I got to repay them, so I started volunteering.
I love that you weren't going to leave. They were so good
No.
you loved it.
That's
well,
right, that's
good.
right, yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I love that. Oh, good. So, obviously being volunteers, can you tell us a little about what you do as far as which departments? Is it just departments that you help or patients? We'll start with the basics.
Yeah, let's do go.
I work at the front desk, so we're called runners, and so the Amy in front of us says she gets a phone call and tells us to go room whatever needs a discharge, and so we bring a wheelchair up and bring them down, or certain floor or department has specimens, OB, and so we just go do whatever they tell us to do. We run around the hospital and.
Is that where you all are? Like that's your home base then? Is the front desk?
Yes, I work. Judy and I work together on Wednesday afternoons.
Oh, okay.
How is she to work with?
Oh, she's.
Look at Judy. I'm coming over there, Federici.
But what makes me feel good is about 3:15 when school gets out, we got 2 high school
Right.
students that come in and work with us until 6 o'clock. Judy and I only stay until 5, but the 2 high school students come in, Sam and Samantha,
Jonathan.
Oh,
or Jonathan. I'm
Jonathan
sorry,
and
Jonathan
Sam.
and Sam.
that's nice.
They're from LaPorte High School, and they come in and work till 6 o'clock.
That's a great point. So any age are able to volunteer, or is there a minimum?
It seems like we mostly have juniors and
High school
seniors.
So
students.
probably
Yeah.
16 and
I
up.
think,
Yeah,
I
that
think-
makes
I
sense.
think Amy told me that it's 15 or 16.
Yeah,
cool.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
then we have a lot of high school students come
Right,
in,
in different departments.
different
too.
departments.
That's fantastic that they, take part in that, and it is important. Can you tell me what you say when you, at least for both of you, you decided to do this when you retired? Ed let on that he just loved it so much he didn't want to leave, which is great. But
Yeah.
what actually had you interested in volunteering at the hospital in particular?
Well, I taught for many, many years at New Prairie.
Oh,
Shout out to
cool.
Rolling Prairie.
that's right. That's right.
Go.
And I was always active. And, somebody said, do you want to sub? And I said, no, if I wanted to sub, I would still teach.
Yes.
But I wanted to do something different. And I had been active always at school with and my own children. Like my husband and I were the scout leaders for my
Oh,
2
yeah.
boys.
Beautiful.
So having done other things like that, and I don't live too far from the hospital, and I thought really it would just be something, for me it was new and different, and it's really, I think it's good for the brain because they use a lot of,
It is.
Yes.
like, you need to go to the Cub unit, or you need to go to this department, and I think, where is it? And then so it takes at least a month or so, if not, to figure out where everything is located because we have to run to all these different places. So, I don't know, it just keeps you active, and I like being at the front desk because I'm very social, and we see a lot of, like we were talking about, community, and I'm trying to talk without moving my hand.
No, you go
We
ahead
do.
and move
I
your
do it
hands.
too. I'm a very much
We
hand
all
talker.
use our hands. That is
yeah.
the way of the world.
So it's nice. You get to, I get to see people from the community, and
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, and Karen, I want
good
to ask
point.
you, was there anything in life, Edward, you as well, is there anything in life that compelled you to volunteer? We were chatting before we all jumped on the air, and I know you're the same way. I was raised, volunteering in my family. We had 6 kids, and we always made a difference, and we always got out there, but that's how I was brought up, and that's how I brought up my children. Was there anything in life that compelled you to do that?
Well, my dad had a saying that everybody that you meet changes your life.
Oh.
And to this day, we always made a We of Me calendar. And it was all the people we met during the year, and we took pictures.
Oh, that's
And then
really
we put them
cool.
on a
That is.
calendar, and it was called the We of Me, because those were the people that made me who I am.
That's really
That is
neat.
awesome.
And my
project.
kids, my family just waits for the calendar every year to see, the dry cleaner person's on there and the gas
Yeah,
station attendant.
absolutely.
Are we going to be on there?
And, well, we'll see.
That's like, shut up, Federici.
So that's what started me. And then my neighbor, I retired and I was home for 6 months, and I was like a vegetable. And I'm going like, are you kidding? I was like a mover, and now I'm sitting watching reruns of Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
So he said, well, I just signed up to volunteer at the hospital. And I said, well, I could do that.
Sure.
So I signed up at the hospital, then I signed up at a food pantry, then I signed up for Reed Laporte, and the next thing you know, I'm a pretty busy lady.
That's
good.
that's
Honestly,
great though.
keeps you young.
I mean, it is, and we've had so many different topics that we've discussed with different health professionals on whatever level and the key component in all of those things is staying active, as you said, but the social interaction and the learning new things. It activates different parts of the brain. It's so good for you. It amazes me every time we have someone new in or a new professional telling us that. You think, wow, I mean, it sounds simple. Not that it is simple. You have to make, obviously, it's an effort, and some days no one wants to leave. You just want to stay at home and in bed. But to keep doing that is I would imagine so rewarding, you know, on
I would love to
numerous
hear
levels.
Edward's perspective. So you obviously had the surgery done
Yeah.
on the knees. This was 8 years ago, so 7 years you've been doing it. So what sparked you? Was it that experience, or was it something that kind of as well was in the back of your mind?
Well, I started like Judy when my son was in Boy Scouts with the Scouts, and then I gave it up for a number of years, and then I was originally born and raised in Michigan City, and moved to LaPorte 27 years ago, and I was approached by 4-H. I've been a 4-H leader over there for starting my 26th year now.
Wow.
But my wife said, "You just love that fair because I tell you, you go out there, sit there for a week. I'm on the sheep committee,
I love
and
it.
she said, "You just love to go out there." I said, we meet all our old farmer friends
Absolutely.
from all
It's
over, from all over the
definitely
county.
a social get together.
And like I say, then when I had the knee done, I decided to do it at the hospital, and I still see a lot of my old friends either coming in to visit, or sometime I even get to bring them out on the wheelchair to the front door. It's really rewarding. I mean, I just decided that I wasn't going to sit at home. I'm old.
You're not old. You look
Listen to
very
you.
young.
Well, I'm 84 years old.
God bless you.
And I tell my wife, this is what keeps me young.
Yes.
Like Judy said, you're thinking all the time because they send you to different departments, and it just keeps you young. And I had some friends that I worked with at Joy. They retired. They went home, sat down in a recliner, and 6 months later we were gone.
I know.
And I decided I wasn't going to do that. I was going to keep active. So
I'm so happy that Edward brought that up and you ladies are bringing it up. My mom, God bless her, she is the hippest mom. She's a great grandma. She's a great grandmother, and she is a great grandmother, and literally. And I'm telling you, with all the kids in our house, with all the grandchildren, with what she does, volunteering and making a difference, I am telling you, you guys are brains, because it does keep you alive and kicking. It does keep you going. She could run circles around people, and she just loves life, as we all do in this room. And I believe
it
exactly
keeps
what
you
you're saying.
young.
Yes.
It keeps you young. Volunteering does keep you young.
I think that's a great point. I have to say, for a while I worked in medical records at the hospital, and for a number of years, I know as a department, we value the help you guys give so much. We couldn't run at the time, it wasn't as much electronic medical record. Now I know it's a little bit different and has definitely evolved over the years, but for such a long time, we depended on your help for everything. I mean, honestly, the department couldn't run smoothly without the help of you guys. So I know how much just our department appreciated that. I'm certain that throughout the entire hospital, I mean, what you guys do for the hospital makes the hospital, I think, what it is, and a place that people, it's nice and encouraging to hear, Ed, that you had such a good experience with your surgery, but I think so many people leave with a better experience because of the volunteers, because of what you guys do. It's just it's great. It's fantastic. And it's inspiring.
I want to jump on that. Mary Anthony, Rick Federici, Younger Life Live. Of course, we're streaming live around the world at this point. You can always get these afterwards, youtube.com. If you want to see a great pic of all these guys, it's up on AM 1420 WIMS's Facebook. I want to throw this out there, and let's go around the room, because I'd really like to hear, is there any time, as you guys have all been volunteering, that you could think of some experience, something that has touched you, any one of you, in a way where you went, wow, this is like really incredible, whether it was a person, an experience, all the above. So Judy, Edward, and Kieran, of course, here in studio. Let's start with you, Judy. Anything that you could think of, and I don't mean to throw you guys on the spot, but I just figured, there's got to be something,
specific, right?
I can't think of the specific patient, but I just found it sometimes like I could be a comfort to somebody. Like I went to pick up a lady, and she was the visitor, and her husband had just passed, and I could relate to that. And and even if you don't know these people, just to be able to put your arms around them at the moment, they need the comfort.
Yes.
And one time I just remember a lady when I first started was crying in the hallway. I did not know her, and I just went like this, and she just started hugging me and crying and explained what was happening to her. And I think sometimes, I don't know if it's okay to say in the air, but if you could just say, to comfort them, to say, if they found out they had cancer or their husband, like, I'll say a little prayer for you, and if they're in the
You could say that we're all
Of
about the big
course.
G.
I mean, I
just
think
sort
that's
of tap you,
fantastic.
oh, thank you, honey. So for me, that's the kind of moving moment, and or sometimes if I'm silly or singing and dancing when I think
Rock on, G.
just to just to cheer them up a little bit on the way
Right.
out the door. So
Karen, how about you?
Well, the one that comes to mind isn't at the hospital, but it's when I was tutoring a third grader, and we were doing homework. And, of course, I coach as close as I can coach, but
Sure.
I can't give them the answers.
Of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
So I says, well, this is your math homework, so let's see, when I come back next time, you tell me how you did. And she came back and she said, I'm not dumb.
Oh.
She said, this was the first time I didn't get an F on my homework.
Oh, that's so sad.
I got a C+. And she said, I'm not dumb. If somebody would just pay attention to me and help me.
Oh, that breaks my heart as having children. I
Oh.
think it's so sad for the kids that don't have that.
That just was overwhelming to me.
That
Just
is
overwhelming.
that's beautiful.
It is,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Edward, how about you?
I really haven't had anything outstanding to remember. Like Judy says, you get to know some of these people, and like Judy said, say a prayer for you.
Yeah.
It's
You bring comfort
there's
and
a
don't
lot
even
of
know it.
there's a lot of people that come in there that they're shook up. There's life's problems up there. The cancer and hearts and things like that. And I think they appreciate you just saying, well, I'll keep you in my prayers, and
I'm with you.
I think even more
God bless
than
all these
well,
people.
yeah. I mean, even more
Seriously.
than not to sound and get all emotional about it, but you're an angel to those people in that minute. You don't even know it. You really are. They touch you. You think, oh, you don't remember, but they don't ever forget that. I think we've all had experiences where someone has made such a difference you didn't know. And I think that's.
well, when I
Big
take
deal.
somebody out to their car, we take them right out to their car from up wherever they're discharged. And I always thank them for using IU Health Laporte Hospital, and they'll turn around and thank me for volunteering,
Right.
help and take care of them. It's
I think
it's
that's
two-way street,
incredible.
I
It
think.
really is.
I thank them and they thank me. So
One of the things I wanted to throw out there, and as you scope out and you think about these different things that we all do to make a difference, and and I can
You
tell
try,
you're,
yeah,
I can tell
I'm a
my
baby.
young,
I'm
my
a
young
ball
host
bag.
over
I
there. You know what? But
He
emotion
says
is
it chokes
good
me
because
up.
I cry when there's things to cry about, and it is what it is. But during the season of giving, this quote, and I'm going to read it from President George H.W. Bush from December of 1990, still resonates. The greatest gift we can give is of ourselves. Volunteering has the power to ignite passion, inspire change, and impact our world by broadening perspectives and transforming communities. Do you find this to be true? And when you look at that, when you talk about volunteering, we all know it's changed our lives. I know that as you guys are all putting these different perspectives, I've got an aunt right now who is not doing very well, and she's got breast cancer. And you are out there and you're doing these different walks and these different things, and you see thousands of people, whether it's walks or runs or brides, and you see the stories. You look at the families and you're like, you're blown away. My sister, she died from leukemia at age 6, and to this day, our family gets together and we do different events to remember her. My father, God rest his soul. I look at him, and his was a heart issue, and then complications to something, and he's looking down. But again, we all do that. And then even with the community, we just did a week or so ago an Alzheimer's dementia making a difference volunteering type thing, and it's all these things. And I truly believe this in life, that we are all put on this earth to do different things and to be there. Family and God, of course, most important. But these spin-offs, these little side things, we need to make sure we instill this in our children, our grandchildren. We need to keep this going in life.
It does keep a community, it does improve a community. It does give one the sense of community, and we are social beings. So I think it's a great point. No matter where you're volunteering, it doesn't matter where you're volunteering, but you're still, you are helping someone else, and in turn still taking away something from that. And that's so important. It is, it's moving, it's inspiring. And I hope, how would someone get started volunteering if they were interested in doing that? Do they just contact the hospital, or how did you find out about the other organizations, Karen? How did you find that out?
Yeah, there was a thing on Facebook from the library.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Great.
And I went on, and it said that they needed tutors. And, I've never been a school teacher or anything, but I called up and I says, I can read and write and I can do math okay. And
Can I throw this out there too? I want everybody to know this for the record. When these three came in today, they sat down in the front foyer. We were just laughing and talking. We got a picture. They're up on Facebook. These ladies immediately, without missing a beat, on their iPhones and Droids, got on there. I was like blown away. And I look at Edward. I'm like, wow, this rocks. Ladies are like, okay, so your Facebook page is, we just liked you. Okay, cool. This is great. And this is on Younger Life. And I'm like, holy cow.
It's great.
So you keep rocking, you guys. I mean, you're talking about Facebook and social media. And by the way, library is a great source of information. We work with the LaPorte County Public Library System, all their branches, the Michigan City Public Library, and so many others. But I think that's awesome. So that's a great question. Like, where did you find this information
and
out?
for the hospital specifically, I know you said that Amy Newman is the coordinator of the volunteers. Would someone that's interested contact the hospital and ask for her? Or
You come into the information. That's the first desk when we come in. And there's applications there. You ask for an application, you fill it out, and turn it in. And they even run background checks.
That's a great point. I think that's so important. In this unfortunately day and age.
They give it to Amy, and she goes and she does the background checks, and then they'll call you and schedule you to come in for orientation. And
That is so neat.
Well, they ask what
they do an orientation. We had
departments, too.
yesterday. He had 3 girls that he did orientation yesterday afternoon, and then they're assigned to different. The one girl, she wants to volunteer in the ERs, so Amy will probably put her over in the ERs, and the rest of them they'll put them in different departments, or they'll put them at the front desk with us. And we need volunteers. I talked to the girl that works the front desk yesterday, and a lot of our snowbirds are gone, and we're she said she's actually short of people, and some
Very
of them
good point.
are not feeling good. One of my buddies that works volunteers volunteers. He's got pneumonia and that, so he's going to be off for a while. And she said, we can always use more help.
Well, that's a great point. I would say, listen to these inspiring stories, take that away and say, better than, really, I think that's better than anything else that we've discussed as far as, beating the winter blues. We had an entire day about that. What better way to help someone else and yourself, It's just a very good point. Please call the hospital, call anywhere to volunteer. It's such a great thing. I think you guys underestimate how much you're appreciated. Really, I love to hear that you take stuff away too, but it's so important. I love that.
I love too the fact that the ladies and Edward here, when it comes to, you're not just doing one place. You guys are doing multiple places.
Yes.
And I think too, that just adds to your, I think inside you, it's got to make you feel good when you're doing this. Am I right? I mean, all you guys?
Oh, I'm for sure getting the benefit. It's not. I've met people I would have never met. I at the hospital, at the food pantry, at the tutoring. It's just I've just met people that are going to be lifelong friends. I wouldn't have met Judy and Ed.
Yeah, it's very true.
I could see you guys being little troublemakers when you guys go out and about, a little crazy at the restaurants. Woo!
Yeah, down at the cafe 1007. hanging out down
Speaking
there.
of which, that would be a fun
That's a
place.
perk.
Have you guys
That's
ever?
a perk.
I love that place, Cafe 1007.
That's a perk too.
Yeah, it's really
volunteering at
great.
the hospital. The food's fabulous downstairs.
Being with the Boy Scouts and 4-H, which makes me feel good. I'll be out somewhere and some teenager will come up and say, "Hello, Mr. Gondik. I remember you from when you were our leader with the Boy Scouts,
Sure.
or
That's
when
so
you were out
neat.
at the fair, spending the week out there with us." And I think everybody should help these kids. I mean,
That's so neat.
keep the kids off the streets, and
Absolutely.
they would
What
be
a
a lot-
life lesson.
be a lot better world if we could just keep our kids busy doing something besides running the streets or doing
Absolutely.
the drugs.
Got it, Judy.
Well, I was gonna say, and then also I found since I've retired, I just have more time to give back. Like before, when I taught and
Mm-hmm.
was married and raising 2 kids and going to their sporting events and doing scouts,
Yeah.
you know, people, and I said, I just don't, I can't put any more
There's
things
no-
on my plate.
That's
you know.
it.
Does that sound
That's
familiar?
where I'm at a little bit sometimes. You know,
And
we
so,
have those days.
You know, now I feel good that I could do things at
Mhm.
my church too that I wasn't able to do, because lots of those things occur during the daytime, and yeah, so I do enjoy that I have time to give back, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
I think that's a great point you bring up. There is a professor of psychology at Claremont Graduate University in California that says that the strongest drivers of volunteerism, actually there's 5 of them, but the first 3 are a little bit more self-focused, which sounds backwards really, but they truly are. The you know, people volunteer for different reasons. One of them being the understanding or the desire to learn new things, you know, which I think you definitely learn. I mean, it's so good for your brain. You're learning new things all the time. You feel good about being able to do something for someone else, and you learn new skills. You know, all those things help you out as well as someone else, which is fantastic. The other 2 are the church, like you said, making a difference in the community, the hospital, clearly 4-H. It's such a great program. My kids have been in 4-H for years. I was in 4-H for years too. So, and then the humanitarian value aspect, you know, like the you know, trying to make the world better, the community better, your church better, you know, giving of yourself and your time for those reasons. And it does get easier when you feel like you don't have so much on your plate. And it sounds like you enjoy that. And I think that's a great thing. My own family, we've discussed many times, life is busy for everyone. It doesn't have to be kids or not kids, whatever, you know. Life's busy, period. But we've said so many times, we would love, the kids, we volunteer with church and stuff too, but I would love to do something once a month at a different location with the kids. Just say, this is our Saturday or Sunday, we're doing nothing but volunteering at this place. You know, it's hard to find that can be for all ages, you know. Because we do have children that are young, but I still think it's important for them, and we've not really found many things other than at church that is more family oriented when it comes to volunteering. So I would definitely be interested in finding out, you know, more about that, or even at the hospital if there's something that we would be able to. I realize that they couldn't be runners, but you know, do something. I mean, a couple of mine could.
How old's your littlest one?
My littlest is 4.
Well, yeah.
So you wouldn't want him to be a
Micro
runner.
runner.
You know, he would literally be the runner.
Yes.
Right.
You know, but you know, it'd be nice to find something that even to instill that at such a young age, I think.
You know, something I want to throw out there, and maybe you guys could jump on this as well, and because we do stuff a bus and stuff a sleigh in the areas locally, so it helps the local food pantries where you guys have brought up.
Yeah.
And I think too, even though they're that young, at the end of, you know, when you're collecting food and you guys are, you know, you're doing stuff, you know, we do it here at our local stores like Al's and Barney's. And we get together. So we're out there collecting, you know, certificates and bags. People are, you know, donating time and effort and volunteering. But at the end, Mary, we get together, and then there's a line of people that goes from the buses that are stuffed or the sleighs, but we put them on the bus. You know, the sleighs are at the events. And then we have a long line of people, all ages, by the way. Maybe your 4-year-old could be with you and Jeremy.
That would be great.
Standing there, and they hand the cans.
Yeah, that would
You
be
know what I
great.
mean?
I mean,
And
you know,
then
we do the
stuff like that.
We do, you know, food drives and
Sure,
stuff.
sure,
And of
yeah.
course, you know, I say, or toy drives. You pick something out for another little kid. What would another little girl or boy like? You know, so we do those things. But it would be maybe even to take that a step further and say, have them help load, have them help do those things, because it's, you know, especially when you're buying things, it's different for them. They'd love to pick it out, but it's still hard to relate. They don't see a person, especially for the very young ones. Clearly, my oldest is 15, so we have some in every age level. They definitely get it, and they're very good at it. But the young ones, that's a very good point. Maybe the step further as far as loading or delivering, unloading something would maybe even.
Have any
You
of
know,
you seen anything?
You know what made me feel good yesterday? I was reading the LaPorte Herald-Argus.
Sure.
And what the sheriff's department and the schools in LaPorte County did. How many cases of water did they load up?
150,000 bottles, I
and
think. Some
they showed
ungodly amount of cases.
Saturday, it showed the LaPorte basketball team helped load these skids to put on there
That's
to send up to
fantastic.
Flint. I mean, so the coach has got these kids thinking too
Oh, yeah.
about
Our
helping.
school-
There's more to basketball than just playing the game.
Absolutely.
There's community service.
Community
Yeah.
service, absolutely. Our,
I mean, it made
our
me feel
school
good
did
when
the
I read
same.
that in the paper.
I
That,
absolutely agree.
And it's a great idea. I love that the schools do that too. We have a police
I mean, it
officer
wasn't
at
just
the school.
LaPorte. That was all.
Everywhere.
That was
Oh,
South,
yeah.
South Central. That
Right.
was all the schools in the
Yep,
county.
that's what we did. We have a
this
police
one.
officer that said, "Hey, if anyone brings a case of water, you can wear pajamas or a hat
You're
to
like,
school." And it's funny. The kids are like, "We can wear sweatpants and t-shirts." You know what I mean? They loved that. So that was a really great idea.
Like lacrosse, they were playing. I forget who it was, but if you bring a case of water, you got into the ball game for free.
See, that's
That's
a great
awesome.
initiative.
That's
I
great.
love
know,
that.
and, athletics in high school, they need the money.
Yep.
To,
Oh yeah.
But they let them in free that night if they brought a case of water to the basketball.
That is
game,
fantastic.
so.
It was really nice to see how much water our own school had. I can't. You throw it all in together. My goodness. I mean, I just think it's
between
fantastic.
here and the Michigan corridor, we all know the Flint, Michigan story.
Right.
It's really opened up a lot of eyes and ears around the world, not just locally here and then the Midwest. But it is very interesting to see that perspective because everybody's getting together to
It's
do
great.
the water. And the other side of it is to tie into that when you do events, and I think this is great for the communities that are listening and for the folks that are out there, the community pillars. We are involved with the symphony and these choirs and these different children's type applications from the youngest of years to the wisest of years through high school and even collegiate, where you bring cans of food.
I
and
love
you
that
get
too.
in. I love it because it helps. Not only does it help the parents and it helps everybody out, but then they think to themselves, "Wow, I'm actually making a
You're
difference."
helping.
It's not just about getting a can to get in for free. No, it has nothing to do
Right.
with it. But no, I'm getting this. And then they see the wall. When we do one city, one sound, and it's, thousands of people, usually to get in, you have to bring toiletries, and it helps out one group, and then cans of food and or whatever.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
great.
think
It's
wonderful.
always nice to see that initiative from any group, school, just the community in general. I know a couple of my children, especially like my 6-year-old and my daughter just turned 11. They were asking, why the water? They were kind of confused. Why the water? And in school, they talked to them about it, especially the 11-year-old. She knew a little bit more. But I like to listen to her telling my younger ones what happened to their water. So why, what would happen? You can't cook with this. You can't, you can't use it, and until they get it cleared up. And I love to hear that. I love to hear that they're interested in further out than just our own little community. I mean, it's important to,
I think churches and schools are good places that try to incorporate community service with children, because most schools at Christmas have a food drive.
Right.
Sometimes the older kids can come and help us. We have the younger students to help them read or maybe tutor a little bit with math.
Yeah.
So they get that sense of helping other people. And then I know at church, if we have something in the cafeteria like a special occasion, we try to incorporate different children's groups, like they can serve the water and the juice,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
guard the dessert thing so other
Other children aren't running their finger
Yeah,
through
it's
it
like,
on the way on
hello.
by,
yeah, so instead of just adults, so you could have children helping at those events too, like that. So I think that starts to develop a sense of helping others and community.
Absolutely.
In the fall, they have the shoebox for Christmas.
The
Sure do,
Operation
yes.
Christmas
I mean,
Child.
all the churches
Great.
in LaPorte County get,
Yep.
and I don't know how many thousands of
Lots.
boxes they fill, and then they take them all over the world. I mean,
It is really neat. I know our kids have had to watch videos on it, and it's sad and sometimes hard for them to watch. It always takes them back a minute when they get to an age where they can realize. But it helps to teach them compassion and I love that. I love to see that little change in them and have them participate. It's not just me out getting it and saying, "Oh, look, this is what you're taking in." It's nice to have them participate and really think about it. I love that.
I think
that
the other
aspect too, so.
thing to throw out there too, and a lot of us are involved, and it doesn't matter what religious denomination you are, and I could throw the big G into this mix because I can. But to look at the giving trees that a lot of our congregations have at their churches or their place of worship, to be politically correct.
Right.
And it's nice because when my daughters were real little, we would say, okay, you want to be a part of this? We absolutely do this every year. We actually take off more ornaments every year because it goes right to my heart when you see that
Yeah.
there are leftovers on the tree, and it's like, okay, so we always pick a boy and a girl, we always say, but we let each one to this day, and they're 18 and 22, they go up there, but the process, we're talking about getting the kids involved. Okay, this is the giving tree. There are a lot of people out there in our world, in our community especially,
Absolutely.
that don't have what you may have. And
Right.
we're right here today. We're gonna buy them something. We're gonna help them enjoy their holiday with their family. So they pull it off. They look at the back and it's just a little kid who wants a coloring book and a pair of shoes. Or they want something that can help them make it better. So then the process there is they take it off the tree, they get it, they know what's going on, but then the next step is you're going to go shopping with mom and dad or your grandparents
Yeah.
or whoever you're going with. You experience it, like you said, you tied into
It's nice.
having them get that item
Participate. Mhm.
and then wrapping it. Some congregations don't want you to wrap it. Some are cool with it. But either way, then setting it back under the tree and being a part of the process from A to Z. So, I mean, I'm just something else
Well,
to
you know,
throw
the
out there.
hospital does a great. I haven't worked there. When I worked there and we were doing it, I haven't worked there in a while, but they did the same thing where it was local people that it was completely anonymous, but different departments would adopt a family kind of thing. And one of the first years I was expecting, and so I was a little more even ball baggy than normal and emotional. It was so sad to me to read, when they would write down, the parents would write down, instead of writing down any toys, they had socks and underwear and things on that like that on the list. Right. So it's terrible shopping. You're balling thinking, of course I'm going to get them the underwear they need, but I have to get them something fun too. It's just, and so I love that organizations take so much a part in the community to do that. I know, my sister works for First Choice Realty, and they do the same thing where they help the I'm trying to think which group does
I
the
think the JCs in LaPorte
JCs.
and the
Yes.
and the
Take the
Michigan
children.
City Real or the
We all, the LaPorte
Realty.
County real
yes,
estate people.
I
Yeah.
think they all do that.
There's
Yeah.
some good stories. I know some.
Countywide,
So
all those
touching.
guys do a great
They
job.
take
yeah.
these kids shopping, let them
Yep.
spend $100. Most of them get clothes. They might get themselves.
Yes.
But the guy was telling me, he says, we get up there and they want to buy something for their mother,
Yep.
or they want to
It's
get
so
something for
true.
their dad.
And my sister goes,
So it's really there's a lot of good things going on in this county that we don't realize. A lot
it's
of people
so
don't
uplifting.
realize it.
I
And
find
it's-
it so uplifting to
It's
hear
that
that
community
and those
group
stories
and
and
volunteering to tie into that. There are so many groups in the area, and the sad thing is, and we all know this in this room, even at the end of the day, with everybody doing what they do, and I know we're trying to keep this on a positive spin, there are still folks out there that are left in a unique position, let's say. But we do something with the Michigan City Police Department every year, and it's funny you bring that up because we work with the real estate folks too every year to help not only raise the funds but go shopping with the kids. I love that
That's
feeling.
yeah.
But the local police folks, when we go to these places, and you hit it right on the head, Ed, when you are taking these young kids, and let's say they've got $80 that each child gets to spend, and there's 500 kids. So you've got police people and community people and moms and dads taking these young ones shopping. The first thing out of their mouth is, okay, I've got this kind of money. Well, I've got a little sister who's 5, and I really want to get my mom and dad something. And it's like, you literally get, I get choked up.
It's rough.
It's beyond rough. And then you just go like, okay, do I have an extra like couple $1,000
Yeah, I
on
know.
me?
You wish. You know what
Because
I
you
mean?
hit right on that when you
Absolutely.
said-
Absolutely.
You go to the store and you're like, okay, I want to buy him socks and stuff. Then my wife will be like, but get him a baseball cap.
They
or,
also need something fun,
Yeah,
you know
get
what I
him
mean?
some
Yeah,
Star Wars stuff, whatever.
It is. I
Seriously.
think the bottom line overall, I know Rick and I've talked before, it would be awesome to do an entire week on volunteerism, and I would love to go. I know you get into privacy issues if we come to
Sure.
the hospital aspect. But I would love to come and watch and participate. You know what I mean, and just see what it's all about. Many different locations. I would think that would be so rewarding and such a cool thing. I think we definitely appreciate, and I know everyone in the community appreciates everything you do. All the volunteers everywhere, obviously not just the hospital, but what do you three, what would you recommend if someone's thinking about it today? What would be the first step if they're nervous about it? Would it just be getting on the computer or making a phone call? Is that what
Well,
you would
they
recommend?
could just come in, like I say, to the
Just
information
right.
desk, get the application, fill it out, and turn it in, and Amy Newman will take it from there
Okay.
and do the background check, and then call them and have them come in. They have their orientation. I'd urge everybody to.
If someone's a little nervous about maybe what might be required of them, how many hours?
My first night I worked with Bob
Oh, I love Bob.
Uh,
I remember Bob.
he come.
I can't think of his
I
last
can't-
name.
I can't either. But
Me too,
anyway,
and he was the
he took
trainer.
me around to teach me
Right.
where these different departments. But it still took me a month to to remember.
certainly.
Yeah, but
Well, and then Ed.
they, I mean, they
worked
just
with
don't
Ed,
put you out
and-
there cold. They work with you and
Well, that's
till you
good.
get at ease, and then you go from there.
It's good to hear that because I think that might stand in some people's way. They're a little nervous. Or what about even required hours? Do you sign up for as much as you want?
No, we work 3-hour shifts. We
Oh.
start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They got usually 2 or 3 come in from 8 to 11, and from 11 to 2. Then we come in from 2 to 5, and then Jackie comes in from. This is on Wednesdays. Jackie comes in from 5 until 8 o'clock at night when they lock the front door.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So,
Very
Amy,
good.
obviously, and I know we're going to go over to here to you guys, but we got to give a big round of applause for Amy, everybody. Amy!
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I wish she should have come in.
She's our boss.
Yes, you're right.
She should have come in.
If they're, you could meet with Amy Newman
Mm-hmm.
and kind of figure out what department you might be. Not
Okay.
everybody likes to be a runner.
Okay.
They could work in the pharmacy or on the 5th floor, like delivering books and paper.
Oh, okay.
And 5th and 6th floor are like the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And so some volunteers go up there and they do activities with the games
so
and help
fantastic.
there. So there are the ER. There's lots of different departments. You know.
Do they allow you just to go sit and hold the babies?
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I
Well,
first started. Not that I certainly have enough
babies.
babies.
I do like to
You
go
gotta-
to that
you-
floor and deliver flowers and then
Yeah.
can I peek? If
It's
the
so
baby's
sweet.
And so I do get to peek once in a while.
Oh,
with the
good,
baby. I do
good.
enjoy
They keep that OB ward locked,
Right.
and you got to pick up the phone. Well, we can badge ourselves in,
Oh, okay.
but if you're there, you got to pick the phone up and tell them who you're there to see, and then the
Yeah.
nurses will unlock the door and let you in.
It's great. I mean, it's unfortunate it's got to be that
that's
tight, but I understand
Mm-hmm.
it. It's great that it is.
Like Judy said, it's a lot of fun taking the flowers up, and you go in the room with a bouquet of flowers, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of these people are old, and they light up, you know.
Oh,
Who
absolutely.
sent me flowers? I said, well, here's the card. And I said, you look and see.
It's from me.
It's not,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's-
really
yeah.
sweet.
they're not from me. They're from the. Yes, I wrote on a little card.
That's really
Hi,
nice.
I'm Ed, and
though.
I'm a Scorpio.
That's really nice. I mean, really, it's nice to bring a little happiness to someone. So I think that's a really, really good point. I love that. Very good.
You're working like multiple volunteer jobs, you know, and all you guys are. But so is your week just like packed?
It's pretty interesting. But what I want to say is if you think you don't have a skill to offer, you do. It might be that all you think you know how to do is smile, and that's good enough. There's a place for everybody. You don't need to be on the computer or be able to teach math or whatever. There's room for everybody.
That's awesome.
That is the best. That's one of
a
my
great way
favorite
to-
points. It's the
nice-
best way
nice
to wrap
bullet
it up.
point,
You know,
yeah.
absolutely. Everyone has something to offer. Very good.
You know,
Thank
Judy,
you.
I wanted to throw this back over to you because all of us in this room, we love our scouts, and a lot of us that have had daughters or sons, you know, they go through the different phases of the scouts, no matter if they stay in it from point one to point B. We just did a big fundraiser for local troop 654 here and in the area, and we do fundraisers all year round where they sell peanut brittle. The scouts make the peanut brittle, then they box it and sell it, and then they're able to go later in the year to go to like camp and different things. But I want to spin it to you because obviously you were a leader with your husband, and I think that's a cool part of volunteering. You're not getting paid to do that. You're doing that for the love of not only to be with your sons, but obviously the love of the children and to teach them quality life skills. Can you talk to the WIMS and Younger Life audience about that? Because I think that's critical too. There are positions like that where you're volunteering. You're actually the teacher, the coach.
Right. Well, I used to have to help my husband a lot because I was used to doing lesson plans, and you have to go through the Weebelow's book and then the other book. So, and you have to make sure that you're aware of working on the badges and activities for the kids. And then, of course, they like a fun activity after
Yeah.
the meeting part.
Yes.
So it does require planning, and I don't know. We started with son one, and then there was nobody for son 2 to do it, so we just sort of pick it up
course.
for that. Yeah, you know, so.
That's the way it goes.
And I think we ended up doing it like for 8 years.
Wow, that's a long time. I mean,
Wonderful.
really,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Seriously.
That's a long time.
I don't. So it was just. I don't know. I guess you just sort of put your skills. I was glad to do it with my husband.
Absolutely.
It was easier that sharing the workload. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good to bond, and we were talking
It
about
is.
we make a joke, but we're serious because there are times that all of us, no matter married or whatever, but your significant other, you do things together. You know, trying something new, taking that first
Right,
step. That's a
taking-
cool way to kind of bond as a couple.
Oh yeah,
know, and
absolutely.
Get a little bit
That's
of
really
quality
cool.
time, and I say that with quotations.
Yeah,
Because you're
I mean-
pulling your hair out. Woo!
I think the volunteering too is a great
Yes.
point with your spouse. I think that would be cool. You know, as life changes, especially when you're talking retirement, that gives a whole different spin and something new and exciting gives you something to look forward to. I would imagine too. If you could do that together, that's really neat.
You know, at Christmas time, the Salvation Army, I know over in
Mm-hmm.
LaPorte, they're looking for volunteers to be out there bell ringing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that helps the committee.
That's a great family idea.
I do,
you know.
yeah. We were at a luncheon yesterday from the churches, and they had a big pot of soup left. I said, "What are you going to do with that soup?" And they said, "Well," I said, "take it out to the Salvation Army." And so they took the sandwiches and the soup out to the Salvation Army for them to use that evening for their soup kitchen.
That's
a great
awesome.
idea.
That's
Yes,
so
But I
absolutely.
mean, it's amazing how all the churches work. They're starting to work together in LaPorte County.
They should. They should.
It's really inspiring to see that going
it
on.
is inspiring. It's so uplifting. You know, it makes you just think we really do come from a great community. You know, we really do.
And
It's nice.
spinning off on a final thought with that, a lot of the local churches, all denominations making a difference campaigns throughout the year, whether it's a soup kitchen, whether it's a giving tree. Bethany Lutheran does a great job of building some of that.
That's my home church.
Okay, well, there you go. Pastor Dennis
Yeah,
and Carrie
Pastor.
Garwood were just on as they were making a difference, doing some stuff recently, actually on Ash Wednesday, doing the drive-through ashes, which I thought
Oh, I
was a
heard
brilliant
that. That's
idea. But they do stuff year-round, and we were chatting about, building homes, and they're constantly on. In fact, at 9 o'clock on our flagship station here, WYMS on Sundays, we actually do the services live
Yeah,
here on the
I know
air.
you do.
But they're phenomenal. But there's just one small example
So
how
many.
we can all
we
reach
had
out.
a pastor by the name of Nate Laukson who's doing the PAC Center. You know, it was just it's so encouraging to hear the positive responses from the community. And I love that. And I think it's so important on every level. Volunteerism in general clearly is important, but especially all these different organizations and stuff just coming together for the good of our community and the world. I just think it's just it's my favorite topic. I think right now I love it. I think we could do a ton
You guys
of
gonna
shows
come
on
back? You guys gonna come back?
Yeah.
Big round of
I want to
applause.
come
Come on.
with you.
I don't know how many wheelchair ramps they
You're
build over
absolutely
in
right.
LaPorte.
God bless.
Really,
And
that's
it's not just
fantastic.
Bethany. They have a group of men that go out
Mm-hmm.
and on a Saturday and put up a wheelchair ramp for somebody
At
that
homes? You mean?
at homes
That's
Yes.
so
That, you know,
good. That's amazing.
that need to so they can get in and out of their house so that
Absolutely.
they're at least mobile.
You
Yeah.
got it. We
What a
have to
difference.
call it a wrap.
I
And you guys
know.
all made a difference. Thank you to
Thank
Judy
you.
Mahota, Edward Gondek, Karen Burns, Younger Life Live. I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary.
And we'll see you on another great installment of Younger Life Live. Big round of applause for everybody.
you.
And you're listening to AM 1420 WIMS Michigan City, a Girard Media Company. Enjoy your day and God bless America.
Several months of a